I think what I think. These are my thoughts. They may line up exactly with Islam. Some may not line up exactly with Islam. But I have room to grow and expand my own mind.
You can smell it from a mile away when people aren't really being authentic.
Han Meditations. Hello guys, I'm Han. This is my wife Kelly. We're back with another video today.
Hello.
Today we saw this video. Why is Andrew Tate in a video with Katie Hopkins? Now, honestly, I saw some of the interview. I don't know who this lady is or what she's about, but I'm assuming she might have said some derogatory things, but I don't know anything about her because we live in America. I believe she's in Europe or the UK. So let's just see what he has to say and we'll give our opinion about it.
Go.
I recently came across an interesting part of a discussion between Katie Hopkins and Andrew Tate. For those who don't know, Katie Hopkins is effectively one of like the right-wing, ultra-right-wing outcasts, Islamophobes. Call her what you want to call her. She has a very bad record. And she's talking to Andrew Tate, who alhamdulillah became Muslim, but now has been kind of, I don't know, you could say allying a little bit too much, in my opinion, with the right wing or the far right wing, speaking to these guys in a positive manner, which I don't like that. But let's take a look at some of this video and come back and respond in kind.
Some of the best countries on the planet today are the first world Islamic nations. The safest places you can possibly be with 0% taxes, and you can invest your money safely, and you can live a very peaceful life, and your children will not be taught anything weird if you lived in Qatar or Bahrain or Kuwait or Dubai or
Where
Saudi.
do you live?
I currently live in Romania.
Why do you live in Romania? Because
Well,
Romania is a Christian land, I noticed.
It is.
So
it is.
why is that then?
Well, I moved here a long time ago, and
No, Andrew, why don't you live in an Arab land?
well, let's see what happens once
you
I'm
just told me
once I'm free.
You won't live there. You're going to come to Britain and probably hang around with me.
Save the population, perhaps. But my point being,
No, my point is, why don't you live in a Muslim land?
I would be very happy to live in Dubai
So why don't you?
because I can't.
Oh yeah, no, I know you have a restraining thing here, and that's pathetic, and we know about that. But you would choose Romania anyway, as we discussed at the top of this conversation, because you like the feel here, you like the freedom here, you like the masculinity here, which I feel. But you wouldn't choose to live in a Muslim land.
Well, it's actually interesting because
You
also,
say it's that interesting when you're thinking of how you're going to respond, and you don't directly respond to my question. Why don't you live in a Muslim
I'll
land?
directly respond.
I'd like that.
Me as a man, I find Eastern Europe appealing for the reasons you have said.
Yes.
However, if I were to raise my family, or one of my families, or if I were to have to, in a worst case scenario, leave my family unattended, let's say I were to put my children and my wife in a house, I would choose a first world Islamic nation all day long. They're not going to learn anything stupid in school. They're going to be physically safe. They can be provided for with staff and help, and they're going to be very well looked after, and I know they're completely fine. I would never leave my child and my wife alone in London, ever. I'd be by their side permanently because it's a failed country. And even here in Eastern Europe, although I think it's safe, it's very much a man's world, and a woman by herself might struggle to navigate it. I believe I could buy a mansion in Dubai and put a wife and 3 children in Dubai, and I could go away for 6 months and come back and they'd be perfectly fine.
Well, it's very interesting here because she tried to corner him. And this is the thing, Andrew, and I want to say this to you directly, brother. Yeah, and I've got your number, of course, but sometimes you're busy, I'm busy, and we can't communicate on WhatsApp. So I'm going to say this very clearly. This little thing that she did there, this little underhand where she tried to catch you, yeah, this is emblematic of something greater that the far right have in store for you, bro. These people are not going to be loyal. These people are not loyal to you. People like Tommy Robinson and Katie Hopkins and these kinds of people, they're not loyal. When you are a member of a fraternity, a religious fraternity like Islam, we are bound by La ilaha illallah, the proposition that there's no God worthy of worship except for one God. That's what we're bound by. We're bound by something transcendental, something greater than ourselves. We're bound by the purpose of life. We're bound by the reason for our existence. When you got people like Katie Hopkins and Tommy Robinson, who I know full well because I'm taking Tommy Robinson to court by his own admission, he's received the legal papers. People like that, weak cowards who when they're confronted one-on-one get slapped in the face. There's videos of him getting slapped in the face in Luton by one individual, one guy slapping him in the face and him not even responding to that, yeah? When you're allying or speaking or being friendly to people like that, just wait, because what happens is when they get a chance, they'll throw you under the bus. That's when you have an allegiance, a wala', an allegiance that is based not on the transcendental, not on the purpose of life, not on these kinds of things. But what I will say, Andrew, is, to be honest, I think you've done a good job in circumnavigating it. She wasn't tactful enough. I watched a video of him, actually, Andrew Tate.
I'm going to pause it just to say this too, because I don't necessarily, and I don't know the whole situation, but I don't believe Andrew is necessarily allying with these people. But it seems like he's just talking to people and they have a commonality in which it seems like they're outcasts and he's an outcast in mainstream media. But I don't believe Andrew is a far right guy or definitely not a far left guy. But I just believe that he finds merit in talking to people because the more you talk to people, the more you can understand them. So once dialogues close, it doesn't matter whether it's between the left, the right, whatever it is. Once you only talk to people that are in the same mind state as you agree with everything they say. Hey, we're talking. I agree with everything you're saying. We both agree with everything. Then no one can grow. No one can expand. And then you're trapped in your own mind in a false reality that doesn't exist. You have to get to a point where you're able to talk to everybody, whether you agree with them or disagree with them. And I'm just going to say that right there. And then we'll listen to what else he's going to say.
There was like a kickboxing fight where he was fighting like a 20-year-old. And this thing here, a 20-year-old, but he was very like impassioned and he was very like, you know, eager. And in the first round, he was giving Andrew a lot of trouble and stuff like that. In the second round, Andrew kind of tamed him. And I think he knocked him out in the second round. And this is something great about Andrew. It's a feature both in his debating skills and in his fighting. He's able to regain composure quite quickly when he's under pressure. He lets people try it. And then he kind of allows, it's a style, it's a tactic, it's a stratagem. He lets them try it, go for it. All right, okay, say no more. And then afterwards he comes and he finishes the job. In this case, Katie Hopkins tried to take him down. She tried to deliver a kind of decisive blow. And what Andrew done was he posited an excellent counter argument, okay, which is basically the argument from socioeconomics. Yeah, so the argument is basically this, is that those who are in a higher standing in terms of socioeconomics, or who have more money, are less likely to commit crimes. There's less likely to be problems and so on and so forth. And that, by the way, is a basic analysis that can be applied internationally. It can also be applied within a country. So internationally, in the sense that you can see countries acting with each other in that way. And in a country, like you would, if you want one predictor of who's going to commit the most crimes, it's those who are most impoverished and disenfranchised and poor. It doesn't matter what race, religion, or ethnicity they are. And it just so happens, for example, in the UK, there's a lot of working class Muslim people. Therefore, you'll find disproportionate numbers, according to prison statistics, for example, of Muslim people, according to the population, disparate to the population in prisons. Because there's a disproportionate number of disenfranchised Muslims or working class Muslims in the UK, for example. So what he was making was an excellent point, and it's very difficult to argue against that point. So she retreated. Okay, so it's kind of reminiscent of that time the young 20-year-old tried to knock out Andrew Tate in the first round, and then he kind of dodged it and he knocked him out in the second. But the bigger point to be made here is that allying yourself with the far right, okay, I have to be honest with you, is going to be a big mistake. And a bigger mistake is trying to please everyone. Because to try and please the Muslim community while simultaneously trying to please the far right, while simultaneously trying to be a pro-Trump supporter, whilst trying to simultaneously being in the good books of Elon Musk, well, all that together, what you will do is you will actually, when you try and please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. All of them will drop you. And you could, look at what happened with Jordan Peterson. Just look at his views. I was looking on his channel the other day, man. He had like 40,000, 50,000 numbers, sorry to say. And it's not coincidental that that happened after he dropped the Muslim community, where he done it conscientiously. He kind of like threw them under the bus after we welcomed him with open hands, him and his family and his daughter and everybody. He tried dropping us, and the only thing that got dropped is his views. So what happened is this, is that you not only fade away into irrelevance, but you endanger looking unprincipled. So in sum, therefore, I will say that I think that when you align yourself with a community like the Muslim community, and you align yourself purposefully and meaningfully, you'll find loyalty until you die, because we're bound together by Iman, faith. And it goes all the way to the grave. Better than being connected to people like Katie Hopkins, of all people. And that's what I've got to say. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
See, that was very interesting. That was very fair as well. And I'll just reiterate my point in which saying, I believe it's okay to talk to everybody, but I loved whenever he did say that you shouldn't be trying to please anybody, because whenever you're trying to please one community, you lose everybody. That's why every time Kelly and I, we always say, I think what I think. These are my thoughts. They may line up exactly with Islam. Some may not line up exactly with Islam. But these are the thoughts that I think. But I have room to grow and expand my own mind. Maybe my thoughts will change over time. Whenever I get new information, my thoughts change. Whenever I see something new, my thoughts change. My thoughts are always changing and evolving. I'm not the same person I was yesterday as I am today. I'm a new person every instant in time. And that's truly what I believe. So I don't judge people just from one thing or another, but I do believe that you should be talking to everybody, because maybe you can even change their mind or get some of their followers to listen, because maybe Katie Hopkins followers, they're listening to Andrew Tate now and say, oh, I didn't realize that Islamic nations were that safe. I didn't know that Islamic cities were that safe. Let me do my own research and look into it. Obviously, not all of them are going to think that, but I guarantee you 100% people have looked that up since that and said, oh, okay, I have a differing opinion. So yeah, again, I don't think he's allying with these people, but you know, and he did do a great job talking and explaining that. And she did try and get him in a gotcha moment, which didn't even make sense because his family's there. He moved there years ago, and that's just the way it is. So.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Because you definitely can't please anybody, but it's just because it's like an energy that comes off when you clearly are just trying to do things just for like strategically, and people can really read that, especially in the world of like content creation and social media, etc. It's like you can smell it from a mile away when people aren't really being authentic. But when people are authentic, it's just that really is the formula right there. When you truly are yourself and stick by what you believe, no matter what. And it's not about pleasing this person, this person. This is just what I believe. This is what I stand for. You can bang with me or you cannot bang with me, you know? So that is the difference right there. And I do agree that, you know, it's hard to find these days, but I suppose Andrew is one of these rare people, and it's something that we agree on as well, where we should be discussing with all different types of people, especially when you do have a platform where people just want to see what you're saying and they're going to want to see any conversation that you have and are interested in and want to listen. We should be doing that, even if we have a little bit of similarities and you know, we know we're going to disagree on many things. Well, that's interesting. That's cool. That's mind opening. Let's do that. You know what I mean? And so I knew that we were going to probably look into this topic. It's with our niche and everything. So when it came up, I did check it out a little bit. I had never heard of this woman, but you could tell that it was supposed to be a conversation, not a debate. I thought maybe it's supposed to be a debate, so that's why. But no, it was just a discussion. No one's supposed to be like getting at each other. It's just to discuss ideas, you know? And I found that this woman, she's definitely very smart. And I don't know what happened in this moment. Maybe she got her ego involved a little bit, because I say that to say that she's a smart woman. I mean, we all have a head on our shoulders. Clearly, when Andrew Tate moved to Romania, I don't know how long ago it was, but I know like in the past he was an atheist and things. So it probably wasn't really until recently where he started really considering how good it is to live in an Islam country. I mean, we know how these things go. You start a family or whatever you do, and you buy a house and you get wrapped up in this and this and that, and you're not ready to just move countries, you know, on a whim. Basically, no one is ready to do that. Even if they are considering a different place could be better, you know, these things take time, etc., especially when you literally weren't allowed to leave the country until a week ago or something, you know, so, and she knows all these things. So I don't know what happened there. It was, you can, as we all said, it's kind of like trying to catch you an aha moment, but it didn't work out super well. But from what I saw, the conversation was just a regular good discussion. They calmly would say, oh, I disagree on that, I agree on this, and it wasn't really a big deal. It's just good to discuss things, and it opens everybody's minds, you know. So overall, I think it was a cool discussion to have and eye-opening.
Absolutely, Kelly. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for donating. Every cent, every penny, every dollar counts. Just you being here, it doesn't matter, but we have to thank the people that donate because we see every single one of them and it leaves our heart with such gratitude. We truly love you guys so much. We love every single one of you. Thank you guys. We know that you guys can do anything you want to do. And just being the example for you guys, just being on this platform, you guys can start your own channel. You guys can start your own business. You guys can do anything you want to do. And I hope that we inspire you guys to do that. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you
in the next video.